What's up, dudes? How's everybody doing on there? My apologies for the lateness. If you hear something in the background, that's because my brother's watching professional wrestling. It's fine. I was cooking, and I got caught up in the time. Oh shoot, forgot. Anyway, guys, anybody want a Hawaiian biscuit? Just made them. Sorry. Anyway, how's everybody doing out there? As always, it is the first of the full month of August, and as you all know, first full month of August, Sunday, I do my full week. I do my first Q&A live, and so here I am to deliver for you guys. I'm here to take your questions, answer them. I give the answers, and then no, sorry. I watch too much Dashie, man. So you know Dashie, right? I play them. You tweet them to me. I played them, and I rage the down. Shouts out to Dashie. Like I said before, guys, I hope everybody is safe, staying safe in this crazy time that we're living in. I'm just here to give you a little bit of a little state of mind, maybe make you laugh, make you cry. I hope I don't make you cry, but just to get your heads out of the loop for just a minute in this crazy time we're living in, and then just provide you a little bit of entertainment. The road to, I think we're close to 11,000 pack members strong. Yeah, I just checked. I'm getting close to 11,000 now, but the road to 20,000 is still on the way. I've been putting up some new content, and I want to say to Philly Valkyrie, I hope you're watching. Thank you. Thank you for watching, Azaria. I appreciate that. So I hope I'm entertaining you as best I can. So a lot of news has been coming out, right, guys? A lot of news. John Wick 4 and 5 is going to be shot back to back. Go Keanu. Production in the Marvel department in terms of the shows and Spider-Man 3 and all that has restarted. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is getting an animated series on Netflix. The new Transformers origin story on Netflix, which I haven't watched yet, is gearing up. Suicide Squad getting a video game with Target Superman. A lot of good stuff in the geekism. The geek realm is coming, guys. And shouts out once again, Christopher Eccleston returning back as the Doctor. Yeah, Christopher Eccleston, who played the Ninth Doctor, is going to reprise his role in an audio book form. So shouts out to him as well. So I'm here to answer your questions, guys. Keep them coming. We're going to be here for a good hour or two. I ran my mouth off long enough. My pack. New designs are coming in my store. I just recently helped design a mask. For what's going on. I call it the One Love mask. And it's in my store. You can go check it out. So if you want to purchase the mask, go ahead. It's for a good cause and a safe cause too. So yeah, man. Let's do this, right? Let's do this. True Blue Aussie. Max mate. G'day, mate. Can you react to Vandos Gaming Gmod videos? Well, I don't react. I don't do requests on the main channel. Main channel reaction videos all about me. That's if you have a request for something you want me to react to, you can send it to me through a video with the link hashtag please react Chris, or through Twitter with the link of the video, same thing, hashtag please react Chris, and it will go on my all react channel, my burn kid too. And plus it also has to be a video I have not watched. If I watched it, then I won't react to it because it's not a reaction. Then it's like I've seen it before. Kuma, hey Chris, are you there, man? Yeah, I'm here. I guess this was earlier before I started recording. The streamline came up. All right, so let's see what's going on. Marianne, hey man, how are you doing? Gotta work in the morning, so I can't stay on long. That's fine. Caroline, hey Chris, hey Caroline. Travis, have you seen the variant covers for Wonder Woman 84? I'm not a fan. I have not. I've seen, if there's the ones that you're talking about, I think I have seen a few. I still won't watch any. I'm telling you right now, they've already teased a little bit of Cheetah. There was like she talking to somebody about she doesn't want to be like everybody. She wants to be an apex predator. I'm like, as long as they don't show her in full Cheetah, I'm okay with it. Travis, Akira in Street Fighter 5. Yeah. Akira has excuse me. Akira has returned a rival schools character has returned, basically implying showcasing that okay, Capcom showcasing a little bit that rival schools is not dead. And speaking of that, the man responsible for the return of Street Fighter, Ono-san, Yoshimori Ono, has resigned from Capcom. Been with the company for I think 30 years. Is the same guy who brought back Street Fighter 4 and all those crossovers and everything. I think a lot of people thank him, but also know that a lot of it also is like, you know, a lot of those games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and all those games kind of underperformed, and those were under his. So I'll give him thanks for bringing back Street Fighter, but whoever is going to take up the reins, let's not oversaturate Street Fighter. There are other Capcom gems in that library, especially in fighting game realms. You know, I put up a post not too long on Facebook about Power Stone 3. I was like, yo, let's get this going. You know, let's get a Children of the Atom 2, like a game that's just strictly about the X-Men, not the Marvel hero, not other Marvel heroes, just X-Men. I would love to see that. So I wish him all the best. But yeah, Yoshimura Ono has resigned from Capcom after 30 years with the company. I feel ill today. I vomited last night, and I'm very lethargic. Oh, get well. Marion, what's your reaction when Oriole's song leaves from the vine? What? Who? When What? I'm sorry. Did you watch the trailer for the Inuyasha sequel? I Yes, I did see it. Um, I like what I saw. Um, I was gonna react to it, but then I was like, I want to see it. It's very interesting. Once again, I'm so interested in seeing the daughter of Inuyasha and not Kikyo, uh, Kagome. Uh, she's got more spunk. But she's also barefoot like her dad. But I wonder, and she carries a sword and a bow. Because at the end of Inuyasha, remember, at the end of Inuyasha, after they defeat Naraku, Kikyo, she didn't stay in the modern era. She went back to the feudal era and stayed there to stay with Inuyasha, and she was training to be a priestess. So, for all those who didn't know that, I'm sorry I kind of spoiled that for you, but I know probably people were asking that. So she went back to the feudal era and married Inuyasha and all that stuff. So did Sango, and they got married and had a couple of kids. But in this series, it's the children of Shishomaru, twins that got separated at birth. One of them ended up going to the well and being raised by Kagome's brother. Kagome's brother, now older, so she was kind of raised as a kind of a human, while her sister was taken in by the Demon Hunter clan and trained by Sango's brother, who I think now leads the group now. So when they come back together, they have no clue or no memory of each other. My biggest concern about them being the children of Shishomaru is I'm concerned of who the mother is, and I have this disgusting theory. I know who the mother is, and if it's true, that's just kind of disgusting to me. If their mother is Ren, that little girl that stayed with Shishomaru, that's kind of nasty. That's disgusting. I'm like, oh, that's nasty. And then don't give me this excuse. Oh well, he's a demon, so he doesn't age, and she's nah. That's still kind of nasty to me. I'm not gonna deal with. Can't maybe turn that down a little. All right, that's good. So yeah, I'm hoping we are discovering who they are, and he even said that Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter, she has little memory of her parents. So I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? How do they not know their parents? So hopefully I'm looking forward to it. It comes out this. Yeah, I'm just like I'm just praying that Ren is not the mother of the twins, because that's gonna throw me off. I'm like, so Shishomu got busy with the little girl that was with him. She grew up, and he was just like, okay, my hormones. She's of age now. Nah, that don't work with me. I'm not going. I'm not feeling that one. Yeah, don't even do me on that. Once again, I just talked about that. About reactions. I don't do them on the main channel. I don't. Main channel. This channel is all of. I react to what I want to. You want to request something? That's Mumbling Kid 2. You go there with that one. And it has to be something I haven't seen. And Vino Gaming's. I think I've heard of this guy, and I've actually seen some of his stuff. So that's what it is. Galactus Girl says, I miss going to the movie theaters. I think we all do. Yeah, I want an X-Men game too. We'll see. Um, Bronx Caesar. Did you see the Judas and Black Master trailer? Messiah trip. I don't think so. Iro. Oh, Iro. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. Don't know. Okay, until some other. So what else has been announced? Oh, well, I won't go too much into detail about it because I was gonna do a geek thought video on it. So, this whole concept with Spider-Man being exclusive to the PS4 version of the Avengers game. I still haven't played the beta yet. I will stream the beta here on the main channel sometime soon. But in terms of that, you know, I I don't like it. I don't think there should be an exclusivity for this game. Like, okay, it's almost basically saying buy the PS4 version so you can play with Spider-Man. You know, Spider-Man's gonna be in it. I can understand that, but you know, Sony has Spider-Man. I get it, but I still feel that it's that this game should not have exclusive stuff for each platform, and there's nothing for Microsoft fans who don't have a PS4, so they have to get it for that, and don't get it. Don't plan on getting a PS4. I've seen a little bit of the gameplay, especially the battle with Hulk and Abomination, who has juiced up more on Gamma. That's why he looks so bigger than Hulk. But it was fun. But yeah, like I don't think that I think that was a wrong play on that factor. That's just me. And you guys know me. I mean, look who I'm wearing. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. That's my favorite hero of all time. But I still feel that was the wrong play to go with that one. Yep. Yeah, there's gonna be no, I'm dead serious there. You can research it yourself. There's gonna be um a a Splinter Cell show on Netflix, gonna be written by the same writer who writes John Wick. So, but it's gonna be animated. They said it's gonna be 2 seasons, 16 episodes a pop. I just hope they get Michael Ironside to come back to voice um uh oh my god, who Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher. So yeah. Say, what do you want about Tom King's Batman run? But I gotta say, I love what he's doing with Bane. Well, yeah, I mean, Tom King did a good job with Bane until you know the last person I seen somebody kind of do this kind of great development with Bane, well, was Gail Simone with her writing The Secret Six. She took Bane in such a great direction, so definitely. What would Doctor Strange think of Lena Inverse and her friends and vice versa? Um, Huh? Yeah, yeah. Doctor Strange. I think Doctor Strange. I can't. He can't judge anybody, but I think he probably Lena a lot of credit because of her understanding of the dark arts, and because what I liked about the Slayers was they actually showcased the differences between dark magic and light magic. Like okay, these are the type of attacks dark magic. Like all the stuff that Lena was doing, that was dark magic. And I love how she was playing it. You hear what I'm saying? All the incantations, like you hear what I'm saying, like compared to light magic. But I think he wouldn't like the way she's kind of like a money grubber, like her attitude sometimes like it's all about money to you. And um with uh vice versa, I think Lena would be like, with your magic, you could be doing this and doing that. You instead you're protecting. Like she'd be all over Doctor Strange in that way. I think Gowry would be cool with Gowry would be cool with Doctor Strange, and a couple other people would too. What moments in Avatar: The Last Airbender made you tear up or cry? Or for me, uh, when Opera nearly died, that got me. That's about it. Hmm. When and how do you think mutants will show up in the MCU? Now, don't take my word for it. I'm just speculating, but I feel that Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness is going to play a big factor into the coming of mutants, and I won't be surprised if they actually showcase that all this time Wanda was a mutant. Because actually, I want that to go back. I want Wanda to be a mutant again. I thought it was stupid when Marvel started to say, "Oh, they're not the children of Magneto. They were created. And it was like, nah, man, like that. The only child of Magneto is Lorna Dane, and I get it. Yes, she has kind of like her father's powers. I get it, but I thought it was very interesting that Wanda and Pietro had nothing. The only thing Pietro you could say he got from his father is the white hair. Other than that, what does super speed have to do with magnetism or probability and chance have to do with? So, and I ain't gonna lie, like I like Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. I think she does such a great job as that character, and I'm a big Scarlet Witch fan. And the biggest problem scare I thought was they were gonna oversaturate Wanda with like that a cheap European accent. Like if you watch the original um Avengers cartoon from back in the early Fox Kid days, like the '99, she had this just really cheap European, sounded like Jaja Kavor, darling, and wings of these, like, oh Vision, my darling Simon. When she would talk to like Wonder Man, I'm just like, oh God. So when she talked for the first time, I was like, okay, that's nice. And like I said, she is an Olsen. You could tell looking right at her, like you could see the resemblance, right? All in the face, right here, and it's like, yeah, I do love her as as Wanda. Um, so I feel that mutants are gonna somewhat maybe be introduced, or something's gonna cause some kind of rip, and the incorporation of mutants will be entangled through Doctor Strange, because they keep saying that movie's going to be a very big importance in the future of the MCU. So I'm banking on that. And if it is true that Miss America, America Chavez, is also going to be in there, so be it. Um, let's see. Let's see what else. Warhawk. Cool to see another live stream. Yeah. What would the Justice League and the X-Men think of each other? I don't know. I mean, depending on what era of X-Men we're talking, because right now X-Men are kind of dicks. Now I'm sorry. I love the X-Men. They're my favorite team in comics. But right now they're dicks. They're less elitist dicks. Like, they don't care no more. It's like, if you're not a mutant, fuck you. Excuse my language. Fuck you. That's it. You know, come home. Come home. Like nah. And it's not like a few of them. It's like almost all of them now. They all like this. I'm looking at Storm. I'm like, Storm, like, I know you're not talking like this. Why are you talking like this? Why are you doing it? Like, no. You know, I still can't accept them just accepting every mutant to go to Krakoa, like Apocalypse and people like. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, forget bygones, people. How many times y'all giving this fool? You got Exodus on there. You got, I think Sinister's there too, if I remember. Like, what the fuck? When was he a mutant? Like, what? Like, yeah, okay. No, you know, mutant. Name a flaw that. Man, what's all this Last Airbender questions? Like, are you just starting to watch that series or something? I think that's what it is.
A lot of people was reminded of the pandemic that came on Netflix.
Yep, I think that's what it is. People. Name a flaw of Last Airbender. I don't really think there was a flaw. Not in my opinion. The villains was great. They had a clear-cut villain. Even when they did side stories, they worked out. Like Jet and all that stuff. There was never like a overarching storyline that didn't lead anywhere. You know, the whole build up with Aang somewhat being the master, the led up. It there was no flaw. What I loved about it was that Aang never started out. He's the Avatar, but he didn't start out all high and mighty. That's my biggest issue with Korra. Korra, to me, as much as I love that series, that right there, I did not like that. Korra, she knew how to do all the bending. She's like, I'm the Avatar, and she could do this. She could do earthbending. She could do firebending. It made her come off too high and mighty, so they had to plug her down. Like, okay.
Remember at first, the reason why she got to the Avatar stage so quick, because remember at first, at the time, Legend of Korra was supposed to be a one and done.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, right. It was supposed to be one and done.
And then when they got renewed, it's like, okay, well, now we got to find our information to bring her back.
Yeah, and I think also sometimes a flaw with Korra was the villain, especially the. Yeah, that was one of the big flaws villain wise, but I didn't really see any flaws in Last Airbender. If anything, they should have continued with Aang and them older. That's another thing. Anytime they did backstories with Aang and all them older, and we saw Aang doing his job as the Avatar older, I'm like, I want to see this. Like, show us more of this. You know, that was something big. I was like, I want to see more of that. Like, who knows? But who knows where because how popular now Last Airbender has been getting on Netflix. They may do something. And there's been a lot of articles saying, what does the future hold for Last Airbender? I know there's that new series, that new live action series that's going to be on Netflix. And I think it's going to be more suitable and more homage to the show and feel more like the show than that god awful movie did. I don't get how mutant powers don't work with siblings. I find that real interesting that like if you and your sibling have powers, your powers don't work on each other. I find that very interesting. Like, so Havoc could hit Cyclops, and Cyclops would hit him with his eye optic. It don't hurt. It like they just cancel each other out. I think it has to do with the genes and the cells. I find that really cool. Like, that's how they do. I find it cool. I don't mind that. I'm like, that's interesting. You know, because we saw in the animated series when Havoc and Scott met each other for the first time. I don't know why they didn't recognize you. Like, you know,
it was like they were strangers.
They were strangers, and then we saw Black Tom and Banshee. But the problem is Banshee and Black Tom are not brothers. I think they're cousins. But still, you know, he's like, your powers never worked on me, little brother, nor is it yours. Fist always did the, and then they started fighting. Moi fist, and they started fighting, which is funny. Let's see. Actually, that would make total sense of mutants showing up in the multiverse. What if there's an Earth similar to this where mutants already exist on there? Because if that's the case, then where have mutants been on? The only idea I have is mutants have been on main Earth. However, there's only a selected people that know, and the other reason why is because the way I just figure is everything that's happened. But the reason why you probably haven't heard about it is because Professor Xavier wiped the whole planet's mind of like these threats, which he can do. You know, he can do that.
Or I'm not, and trying to the first time I thought about it. It's a far stretch, but who's to say? Remember, only half. Who's to say that a good 50% of the population that wasn't affected by the blip were the prospering mutants?
Yeah, but because if that's the case, then it would also be like, okay, their mutant powers should have been activated. Like once you hit puberty, your powers.
But I'm saying that was 5. It took
5 years. Yeah, 5 years.
Who's to say like within those? Remember, with Endgame, it wasn't a case where they reverted time.
No,
everybody's got put back in the 5 years
where they blipped out.
So it's like, who's to say that a lot of these mutants? Who's to say that with Marvel that a lot of the X-Men or these mutants that were part of X-Men are not of young age, and it's just that, yeah, they were around. Maybe they get hurt by the blip, and with that 5 year span, they're now just discovering their mutant powers.
Because
same thing goes for Blade with Vampire. You gotta find explanation somehow.
Right? Yeah, like some of them. Yeah, I get
somehow New York. I would like to be in New York City.
Depending, yeah, like okay. with that being, that is kind of interesting because one, you gotta like, because it's already said that the Shang-Chi movie is gonna take place during the blip. So it's taking place. It's not taking place after. It's taking place during. So, but with the X-Men, first of all, I don't want the X-Men being young. I don't want. I want them older, experienced. I don't want them teenagers. I don't even want Kitty a teenager. Like if you're gonna do the young X-Men, then you do them young X-Men like Rockslide and Surge.
And that sounds like a multiverse because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like,
It would make
if they're gonna be older, like
yeah.
where were these guys in so
That's what I'm saying. It makes sense for them to be introduced through the multiverse, not through the other means I said before. Is like, yes, they've been around all this time, but Xavier wipes the world's memory of this. Like for example, let's say when the Battle of Manhattan was going on, Magneto was doing something and nobody remembered it, or something like that. Like that, but the bottom line is trust Feige, trust the team. Like so far, they have not failed us in incorporating that. It's like the same thing with how they're going to introduce Atlantis, all this other stuff. It's but they've also give that we've already seen that Braddock is in this world. Braddock. Who is there's a mutant that's named Braddock. Who? Elizabeth Braddock, aka Psylocke. So yeah, and that family has a lot of mutants too. But I feel that the multiverse is the best way to do it. And I don't mind that. Like, do the multiverse. Like, we, to me, if you don't want the MCU to get stagnant, start doing the multiverse, showcasing like, oh, here's in this on this Earth, Captain America is somebody else, or Steve Rogers is this. Like, I would love to see them do Earth 2, and the Marvel's Universe 2, where we see the kids of certain characters, like American Dream, who is the daughter of Shannon Carter, and no, not the daughter, she's the niece of Sharon Carter. But it's not said that she's Captain America's child, but they could switch that. Same thing is said about if they really are going to do a Young Avengers. We already seen that Cassie's now a teenager, and hopefully we see her come Stature. I hope she becomes Stature. I don't want her to become Stinger. The only reason why I don't want her to be Stinger because it's just like, okay, yeah, okay, now we got another Wasp character. We don't need another Wasp character. I want to see her become Stature where she gets big, like we got, and we know that Kate Bishop is coming into the Hawkeye show, and so yeah, there's a lot of things that we mentioned. All right, let's see. If Vandal Savage was in the Marvel Universe, do you think he would be a good leader for Hydra? Uh, I guess. I mean, Vandal Savage is sometimes about himself. He's not about. It's all about him, But he has no real allegiance to anybody. And Hydra is about fascists. He's not. He's not about that. That's not what Vandal Savage is about. Hydra is a bunch of started out from Nazis, and
it has ties to them.
exactly. So no, and besides that, Vandal Savage is DC, who is a caveman who got intelligence. Vandal Savage was a caveman, and I think he was a Neanderthal caveman. He's one of them, but he got from that meteor, gained all that intelligence, and he was immortal. Marion, how long do you think it will take Deadpool to get on Revy, Revy's last nerves? Real simple. If Revy will tell it. First of all, Revy, as we all know, if you don't have never watched Black Girl, Revy got a foul mouth. So she's gonna be like, oh, would you shut the fuck up? Like before she'd probably shoot this dude real quick, and Dutch is gonna be like, what the hell? Like, like he's just talking too much. Like, shut him up. I had to say he gets back up and like, say something stupid. And he's like, fuck. Could you imagine how he would do it? Never mind. I ain't gonna say that one. What would John McClane and Cordell Walker think of each other? I don't know. Huh? Cordell Walker. Walker. That's his name. Cordell Walker. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like John McClane is a cop, a New York cop, and Cordell's a Texas Ranger. Like the only way I can see that happen is there's some joint task force where they have to work together. Yeah, I think Cordell's like, I can teach you to fight better. MCU Wanda meets X-Men Evolution Wanda. What happens? I don't know. It'd be kind of weird because one's animated and one's live action, so it'd be weird. Just saying. Is Sebastian Shaw from Marvel a force to be reckoned with? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And the Sebastian Shaw we saw in First Class is not even close to what he's supposed to be. I love Kevin Bacon, but that was not Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw, his powers don't work that way. That's not how his powers work. His powers are, he basically is kind of like Captain Marvel, Carol. The kinetic energy you use to try to hurt him, he absorbs that, and that makes him stronger. That's how his mutant powers work. It's not like, oh, he gains their powers and like how we saw in that. No, that's not how it works. And he's not that. He doesn't live that long. Like they made it like he was from Nazi Germany up. And I'm like, no, that's not how his. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, it was Darren. Whatever. Stupid. So yeah, but he is a threat. The Hellfire Club is a threat. Sebastian Shaw, Emma Frost, the bitch. I hate Emma Frost. Jason Wingard. There's a couple other people, and one of them is also a cyborg. I'm forgetting his name right off the top of my head. Yeah, the Hellfire Club is a threat. I would love to see Marvel. Like I said before, whenever Kevin Feige them, I hope he takes a look at everything Fox did and be like, nope. I could do that better. We're gonna switch that. One thing we're gonna do, we're gonna stay away from the Phoenix people. Stay away from the Phoenix until they know how to do that right. Stay away from the only thing. If they do, I would want to see them introduce the Shi'ar. Bring in the Shi'ar because I would love to see the costume design, the designing of the Shi'ar Empire, Lalandra, Deathbird, the Imperial Guard. I would love to see how they do that. House of M, I don't know, but take the other thing I can see Kevin Feige doing. As much as I love Magneto, but we're not going to focus on Magneto because that was a big flaw I had with the Fox movies. It always focused on Magneto, and to the
Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
and Magneto still went on to be basically the main
antagonist. It was like, oh, this was about. It wasn't even about the the Sentinels. And if they do the Sentinels over, do it right. Don't make them. Yeah, you can do Boulevard Traps. He did create them, but bring in Master Mold. Bring in Master Mold. Do Nimrod. I don't care, but don't. And they got to redesign the Sentinels, because if you look at the Sentinels in that, as much as I love Days of Future Past, they look like giant Swisher mops. I'm dead set. The color scheme, everything about them look like Swisher. You know what the Swiffer mop is? That purple, and they look just like that. And they really had no. They had no voice. You know, I love to hear them. Mutant Target.
For me, the concept of that world was scary.
Yeah, the concept.
Because I'm like, these cells are basically invulnerable.
Yeah, that yeah. And see, that right there too was dumb.
I was like, I was always thinking, okay, how did even the X-Men themselves get this far? Because these freaking Sentinels are like not adaptable.
That right there was dumb. I hated that idea. Like they weren't even Sentinels more. They were super adaptoids. Like, wait, that's not what they're supposed to be. Yeah, like the fact that they showed all that, it was like, wait, what? Like Colossus got ripped apart. And then the other thing I did not like about Days of Future Past, if you didn't know who Blink, Warpath, Sunspot, Bishop was, you're gonna be like, who are they? Like, it was terrible. It's like they didn't even give these guys a real introduction.
Somehow Kitty learns a new power.
Yeah, Kitty learns a new power. I'm like, what the hell she learned that? Because if you read the real comic, which first Days of Future Past is not even like this huge big story. I think people make it out that it's like no, they think it's like Age of Empires. No, it was only two issues. That's all it was. It was a 2-issue story that focused on Kitty going to the past, not Wolverine. And that's another thing. I love Logan, but Kevin and them got to rip. We can't focus all on Wolverine. We can't.
It really began.
It was
Wolverine and the X-Men.
Wolverine and the X-Men. That's all it became. The other thing.
Top bill and then the X-Men.
Right. The other thing. I hope he looks at characters as well, especially Rogue, and do everything different with her. Like, I get where they were coming from. They were trying to show like Rogue's depression, like they deconstruct, like she can't touch people, blah blah blah. But
it took a realistic approach that probably somebody with those powers would probably be very depressed.
Right. But the one thing that separated Rogue is that even though she knew she had these powers, she still had that mindset of like, I can't let this bring down my willingness to be around people. I can still love somebody, but yeah, there's gonna be maybe some distancing, but have that charismatic attitude that she's had in the comics and even in the show. When they bring Gambit in, for God's sakes, I swear, if they bring Gambit in, for God's sakes, get his eyes right. Like, you telling me? Yeah, that's another thing. Number Cyclops needs to be done completely different. If anything, before he became Dick Summers, Cyclops was basically the equivalent to Captain America, the teacher's pet. He was the teacher's, you know, he followed Professor Xavier, yes sir, everything like that. He was a good leader, good tactical leader. Like, the problem with James Marsden as Cyclops, there was no connection with him, and it's not his fault.
It's funny because after playing Cyclops, you're like, man, you see his role. Everybody's like, my God, how come they didn't give him this material?
And I'm saying that it's not his fault. 3 was like, I swear, 3. I swear, them killing him off. I swear that was punishment for going to do Superman. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna do Superman? We're gonna kill you off. You know, I hope Nightcrawler has a bigger role because I love me some Kurt Wagner, and the fact that they only had him in one episode, one movie, and Jim Cummings, Alan Cummings.
One of the best shining
parts
of that movie.
They bring in Bobby. Don't make him young. Huh? Do Colossus justice? Deadpool started. Yeah, Deadpool did Colossus far better than the X-Men movies did him, and he was practically almost CGI all the way.
How about this? I know we're in the loner and everything, but sure that like the friendship between him, Colossus, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah,
he does have some.
He has close friends. Like if they start bringing that relationship, let's see that relationship between Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Colossus. This is the chance for Feige and them to introduce other characters that were that introduced, like for example, Alpha Flight, Omega Red. Like goddamn, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't even put Wolverine in that first X-Men movie. If you got the balls, Feige, leave him out of that movie. Like, we're not even gonna bring him in. Like, if I was them, and this is just me, I wouldn't introduce Storm. I wouldn't introduce Cyclops. I mean, I wouldn't introduce Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Sunfire, not Warpath, Thunderbird, all them characters until maybe the second movie where you could play up that whole giant size X-Men comic. They're all different to go rescue the original team. The original team needs to stay Cyclops, Jean, Bobby, Hank, Warren. And if you want to add two more, yeah, you could put Havoc and I'll say Lorna there.
What about that? No, they're not. Mystique is not a hero.
That's it.
She's not even an anti-hero.
Don't even think about trying to make her a redeeming character. Mystique don't care about nobody. She don't even care about her adopted kids and her children. She don't care. The only person she cares about is herself and her lover, Destiny. Do not make her some kind of anti-hero or a redeeming, like what they did with Kylo Ren. I've said it before, Kylo Ren should have died. I am not joking about that. They should have never redeemed this. He should have died. So yeah, like Kevin Feige should take a look at everything Fox did and be like, we're doing that different. Nope. Etch out everything differently. Scratch that. You bring Sabretooth back in, make him a real character. Lee Shriver did such a great job as that character. You need somebody on that level. And if I know it's gonna be a big deal. And I'm sorry, I'm oversaturating Caroline's question, guys. I'm gonna get to your questions real quick, but when it comes to the X-Men, I can talk all day about the X-Men. But last thing I want to say is with last thing, it's gonna be a big deal. Whoever is the actor to play Wolverine, I don't care what anybody say. That's gonna be a big deal because all eyes are gonna be on that actor. Like who? I don't care who it. Even if they say they announce, let's say tomorrow, I'll just throw his name out there. Scott Eastwood is going to has signed on to be Wolverine in the MCU. Do you know the eyes that's going to be on that man? The first scene. Yeah. It's not Hugh Jackman. The thing about when they bring in Wolverine, they have to do a little bit everything differently than Hugh Jackman did. I'm sorry. Like For one thing, he's called Weapon X, right? He's supposed to be like this ultimate weapon. Then make him that. Like Wolverine, Wolverine has years, centuries of combat training. Make him look like this dude is not somebody to fuck with. Without the not even with the claws, without it. Like you see how they the evolution of Captain America. That should be Wolverine straight right there. Like not even a question of he can fight, because that is one thing I could not stand about Jackman's Wolverine. He could not fight without instantly shinking them claws. Like he had to shink the claws to fight. I'm like, wait, what? No, like no, like no, like that's what I'm saying. Like don't.
It's like
Yeah, like he's so. If you go back and evaluate Hugh Jackman's run as Wolverine, he relied too much on shink thieves. Every step of the way, shink, 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 shink. Only one time where I actually like, okay, was when he was interrogating the guy, and basically, which is actually one of my favorite scenes in the Wolverine, where he's like, "You got 10 words, 10 words, and if I don't like if I don't like what you're saying, you're going through that fucking window." And he said something on he hit him one time, and he's like, "How many words is that?" And Yukio said, 9. You got one word. That was like, and yeah, like, and that's the other thing Kevin Feige should take a look at too. Is like, this guy's bones are metal. So imagine a man, no matter, not even the size, that who has over 300 pounds of metal in him, hitting you in your face. Your face should be fucked up. Like holding back or not. We saw what did we see when Bucky was hitting Steve over and over? Steve's face started getting puffed up because that's metal hitting his face over and over. That's also my biggest issue with the X-Men movies. So there's a lot that needs to be that go into making the MCU X-Men look far different, and in my opinion, far superior than what Fox has done.
I think it's even Kevin Feige doesn't even have to. Kevin Feige is going to have to do their best to surpass Fox.
Yeah,
I think a 75% job could surpass all of Fox.
Yeah, like you just but
they don't have to do. It's not how much they have to be that they can be superior.
Right, it's just
not they have to do a lot.
Yeah, they don't have to do it, but it's just like you can't. I'm not saying that we can get everything exactly like the comics. I'm not looking for that, but what I'm looking for is for Feige and them to do justice to this franchise with respect. And as far as I'm concerned, he will do that because it's been proven over and over again. They take bits and pieces from these characters, make their own story, but still stay true to the source of these characters. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'm once again, guys. I apologize for that, but it's the X-Men. I can go with the X-Men real quick. All right. Kumar, would the League of Assassins be a good villain to Wolverine and Daredevil? Yeah. And Wolverine has dealt with the hand, so is Daredevil. Yeah. Have you watched any Troll Hunter Tales of Arcade? No. What's up, Chris? Just heard the news from Marvel that Hugh Jackman will be behind bringing Wolverine into the MCU. Storm and other characters, I understand, but could you blame most of them? We'll see about that. I don't know how true that is. I mean, if it is somewhat that he'll kind of be able to handpick the next Wolverine, I don't see why. I mean, he's been with that character for 17 years. 17 years. Played a character. Scarlett Johansson played Black Widow for over 10. So, if they were to bring in like a new Black Widow and she was helping them pick, I wouldn't be surprised with that. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. There is an actor that I want him to pick. But we'll see how it goes. Um, I don't think it should all be him, but yeah, he should. I don't mind him helping. Um, would you like to see the story of Rogue taking Carol's powers in the MCU? I know I want to. That's another thing. Once again, I've said it before. If you're going to introduce characters from the X-Men, don't have them all introduced in the X-Men movie. Why not put Mystique and Rogue in Captain Marvel 2 or somewhere down the line? I wouldn't mind that. Speaking of Captain Marvel 2, we know the director for the next movie. She's the same director that did the new Candyman. Congratulations to her. I'm forgetting her name right off the top of my head. But congratulations. But yeah, don't like if they're gonna introduce Storm in Black Panther, fine. Like I don't mind that. But still don't introduce all the X-Men, because right there, that's the problem. When they just dump fan favorites and characters, no real structure. The Fox movies prove that. Look at all them fan favorite characters they just threw in the movies.
But lack substance.
And lack substance. It was like we got somewhat of a substance with Nightcrawler in part 2. He had some of his a kind of an arc. But still,
and then they kind of hint something with him and Mystique.
Like it was hinted,
yeah, it was like really
and then they did the when they brought him back, and they said like Mystique has connections with him, and it's just like yeah motherfuckers, that's his.
Now we got a little bit with Angel.
Yeah.
But it's all like a cup of coffee because the only thing you really see is A, when he's a kid,
and he's cutting off his wings.
B, when he breaks out.
Yeah.
And he don't see her forever until he saves his dad.
Yeah.
And it's like,
no, he goes to the. I'm looking for Charles.
Yeah, and it's like that really is not for me to. Oh man,
like you gotta have substance, and you gotta have these characters have some kind of arc. Like to me, Gambit is another example. I use Gambit a lot because I just recently watched a fan film of Gambit, and this guy Nick Bateman did a better job as Gambit than Taylor Kitsch did. He pulled off the fucking accent so better than this, and I'm like, it can be done. It sounded better, like, and he even paid homage to it with the whole. What are you doing? Oh, you need the what's the name? There's you need, and basically they did a better job at, like, he even paid homage to the classic cartoon. Like he was saying, he talked a little bit in third person, all that stuff. You want me to hook that up?
Let's go for this.
One moment, guys.
Later.
Yeah, well, a lot of people just started using that. Still got the beats. Gotcha. You gotta see how that ended. Yeah, that's still open. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to hook something up. So what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So, to finish answering the question about Carol, like I said, don't introduce all the characters in one movie. Like I heard this talk about, Hulk versus Wolverine, and I don't think it'd be right now to do it, but it still would be kind of cool to see, you know, Wolverine be introduced somewhere down the line, like homage to Incredible Hulk number 180 or something like that. But yeah, it's just it is what it is. Best one-liners. That's a tough one because there's a bunch of them. A lot of one-liners do come from Arnold, so take your pick. The only reason Mr. Sinister can get in because it took he took Thunderbird's X gene for himself. Yeah, I don't care. It's still bullshit. Inuyasha versus Sabretooth, who wins? Inuyasha, I guess. You got to think about it. Like, do you think Kingpin would be a good villain for the Batman family? Yeah. Have you watched Kenga Ashar? Yeah, of course I watched that. Let's go. Oh, it's out there. I love that the music. It's a good show. That was a really good show. I like that. Hey Chris. Hey Nathan. What do you think of the NBA bubble? Do you think it's going to burst wide open if someone has a virus? I guess.
They have that the NBA is officially back.
Yeah, you just got to look at it like that. Like sports are back. They're trying to be safe as much as they can.
Be more concerned about the MLB.
Yeah. I think it's the MLB more, but you know, so a lot of what the X-Men are doing is bullshit as far as the rest of the world goes. Just look at Franklin Richard Charles and just walked into and pretty much forced through. Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of crazy. How would you how Andre, how would you think the Fantastic Four would react towards the incredible? I've answered this question before. The same thing. I think they would be amazed. Like I've answered that question. I get that question a lot. Like it's pretty obvious. Like that's a question you should ask everybody else too. Like I'll throw that out there. Okay, what do you guys think? What do you think the Fantastic Four would think of the Incredibles? There you go. Favorite Highlander character? The McLeod family. There you go.
All right, which one out of McLeod family?
I like Duncan. I like Duncan. I think I like Duncan more than Connor because we spent more time with Duncan. Adrian Paul. We spent more time with Duncan McLeod than his cousin because we only saw Connor through the movies. And when Connor did guest star on the first episode, I think, but still. And then he died in the last movie. Like Connor, Duncan killed him. which was
My thing is, what kept them from trying to do that before? Why was I there like, all right, we got to
because it was almost like it has to be one. Like I and the Highlander source where they kind of like the source of immortality was bullshit. That's where it really tanked. It was like, wait, what? There was a movie called The Highlander Source where Duncan and a couple other immortals they went to find the source of the immortality, and it was just bullshit. It was stupid. True Blue Aussie. Which place would you like to visit? Australia or Canada? Both. I'm closer to Canada because I live in New York, so Toronto's like boop, right there.
Wouldn't we be more close? What would be more close to Montreal?
Well, New York is closer to Ontario.
Yeah, but when we was going to Albany, we was about to head into Montreal.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're kind of, like I'm closer to, like, yeah, I'm closer to Canada, but Australia is definitely a place I want to go to on my bucket list. I think it's second to Japan, I believe. I think it is, yeah. First time England, I've been to England before, but I was just a baby.
You don't know.
What?
You wouldn't know.
I've been to England, like when we were younger. For those who don't know, like I said, and I'm sure True Blue don't know this, but for all those who don't know, I was born in Germany and stayed there till I was 4 or 5, and came back to the States. My parents were in the service, and we lived in California for a while they were on a base. The base was called Fort Orm. That base is no longer there in Monterey. And after my parents moved to New York, because my parents are from New York. So, but I remember my time in Germany, and things like that. But in terms of in terms of sorry guys, in terms of between Canada and Australia, like I said, both are on the list. Which one would I be more excited to go to? I would say Australia. And that's nothing against Canada at all. No, I'm not eating no Vegemite. No veg. I promise, guys. The food try stuff are coming back. I'm gonna start the one thing I am definitely gonna try from Australia, because I know I got a lot of Australian pack members, is definitely something that all you Aussies can't stop and shut the hell up about. No, I'm just joking with that one. But definitely Tim Tams. I know for sure that everybody's always saying, a lot of my Australian fans and subscribers, and as I call pack members, are like, oh, Chris, you need to try Tim Tams. And there is a site, it's called the World Market, that sell Tim Tams, and I will buy that, and I will try it on the channel soon whenever I get it. But I'm not doing no Vegemite. I've seen people on Try channels and stuff like that eat it, and I'm just like, what is it? Yeast? It looks like caviar, but just, yeah, no, thank you. Sorry, but I do want to go to Australia. I want to see Aries Rock. I want to see, go to Sydney. I got friends in Perth. A lot of them, they always saying, Chris, whenever you come, please just can't tell us, and things like that. I'm like, okay, Perth, Melbourne. I want to meet some Aboriginals. I just want to see the natives. I like that stuff. Travis, did you watch? I just said that before. I did not watch the Transformers origin stuff, guys. I said that at the beginning. So what exactly do you have against Emma Frost? She's a fuck. Let's see. Everything. Like she she steals another woman's husband. You know, she just and the fact is, the Cyclops went along with it too. Like Jean wasn't even dead for how long before he's sleeping with Emma. Yeah, body wasn't even cold yet. Sleep, and I love when Wolverine was like, yeah, Jean hasn't been dead long. And yeah, he shot Wolverine out the window, but it's like, yeah, that's the only reason why he did it. You know it was true. Like
Emma used to do something with his thoughts, like
yeah, she would manipulate it, like or do like she's a
How about this?
Yeah.
Who asked that question?
Caroline.
It's like, here's the thing. Saying this stuff by Emma Frost is actually high praise because she's a villain.
Yeah, she started out as a villain. Like, I don't care what they. Oh yeah, she made Generation X and all that, but she's still a condescending bitch. And I can't. And there's been times where I said, I wish they killed her off. There's been many times I wish they'd have killed her off. Like fuck Emma Frost. I swear, like fuck her. I would like to see Jean Grey. What happened? Oh, I would like to see Jean Phoenix after Dark Phoenix, powers fully controlled, or like you said, no more Phoenix. Either way, I agree. Yeah, no Phoenix, man. Like until they get it right, because as of right now, they have not got the Phoenix right on the big screen at all. Patrick Stewart was a good Professor Xavier in the Fox movie. I give Fox Trevor. He was kind of like it was like a no-brainer to get him.
Yeah,
at that point in time, it was like, who else is gonna play? Right. Who's gonna play Professor Xavier? I'll give James McAvoy credit too. James McAvoy as younger Xavier was pretty good, you know.
Except for hey, you know how he.
Yeah,
you know, his powers.
Yeah, I won't. I won't. I can't with that one. Yeah, like when he stopped his powers, he gained his ability to walk again. I'm like, how the fuck that happened? If Wolverine met and if Wolverine met and Inuyasha and his group, would they be good for? I don't know. I mean.
Wolverine just don't come buddy.
Yeah, Wolverine just don't come buddy with everybody. Like, kind of got to think about that.
With Wolverine, he picks his friends.
Yeah, he does pick his friends well.
Friends.
Yeah, this friends.
Gotta go through a lot.
What would Revy think of Vaster Stampede?
That would be a
pretty bit interesting, but I think she kind of called him a pussy. You know, like you don't fight back, like you know.
Well, but then Vash have like a kind of take no shit side. The one episode where he kind of like went
kind of ape shit, like
he just went like no games. He just was like all serious.
Yeah, but he's one for not really fighting because he's kind of a passive, but he's not even human. Anyway, he's like a living what are those? You know,
plant.
Yeah, living plant. Like, but I mean, he can get serious, but she still would look at him like a pussy, like you puss bag. Like Mel Gibson would be my choice for other than Milo Gibson and Scott Eastwood for Wolverine. Milo Gibson, who the hell's?
You know, man, back at the time, we used to always say Mel Gibson could have been Wolverine.
It was Mel Gibson, and then of course at one point it was gonna be they was talking about Russell Crowe, but he turned it down because he an animalistic character. Okay. Oh
no.
Right now I understand where everybody get another Aussie to play the role. It's kind of funny because as we all know, like in the old cartoons, Wolverine he had an Australian accent.
Yeah.
And you go watch Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Wolverine he had a bad Aussie accent, but yeah, it was like, okay. I guess that's kind of a stereotype of Aussies. Like they're badasses. Like they're rugged badasses. No offense. Um, nobody looks at a Canadian as being that. What's the stereotype of Canadians? They're all loving. They're like very nice people and stuff like that. So, but there was one time a list of the world's famous Canadians, and Wolverine was number 3. Like I was like above William Shatner and Bret Hart. I was like, that's funny. I found that funny. Let's see.
Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, Pamela. Yeah, she was on the list.
Oh, watch out!
Would Lobo try to hit on Ryoko from Tenchi? I guess.
Ouch.
That's weird. Milo from the Wire gonna be scared drug dealing in TV.
Man, I still gotta watch The Wire.
Okay, what is Caroline? Just for giggles, how exactly would the X-Men react to their movie counterparts? If the X-Men saw their counterparts, I could tell you right now, some of them, a lot of them would be disappointed. I could tell you that right now. I think for one, Magneto would probably like, never did I look so old and decrepit. Like he would. He look at Sir Ian McKellen like, is that what they? I'm that old, and probably a lot of us like, well, you were raised during World War II, so I'm sure you, even though he's so jacked. I think Logan would somewhat like Hugh Jackman, but I still think he's a pussy. He'd be like this puss bag. Like, Stone would take a lot of displeasure in how. I can tell you that right now. She would be utterly disappointed. Like, what? Like, let's see. Warren would hate Ben Foster as himself. Rogue, oh God, Rogue she would probably want to throw up. Like, did I act like that, y'all? Like, she would. I think Hank would be okay with Kelsey Grammer and somewhat cursed a little bit. Colossus, Kitty, I think she would be okay with Emily Page. Bobby probably would take some moments with I'm forgetting the actor who was Ashmore, because he wasn't kind of cracking jokes all the time. Bobby's the clown. He's the clown of the group. So yeah, he was like Bobby was like very sensitive in the movies. Mystique, I think she ended up trying to kill some people. Like,
she talked to him about
maybe. I think maybe, yeah, but I think she would definitely probably try to go after Lawrence big time. And I think Professor Xavier would look at he would look at Patrick Stewart and be like, okay, X-23. I think Laura would be okay with the actress who played her, but there'll be a lot of hurt feelings. Let's see. Next up. Wow, it's not even okay. Next up, do you have a favorite Ric Flair match? When we're talking, are we talking 80s, 90s, or I think some of my biggest favorite matches 80s wise, because I am a child of 80s, I did what was his match with like Ricky Steamboat. I love that feud. 90s, I can't say. The only thing I can remember with the 90s where he nearly had a heart attack. Oh, Ric Flair.
Somebody's match with Brett.
Yeah,
He had two
Yeah,
matches.
he had two matches with Brett.
Beat him for the title.
Yeah, two matches with Brett. Those were good.
And they had the WCW.
With WWE, there's a couple of matches I have. I love his match with Vince. Because that was hilarious to me. I thought his match with Edge was really good.
You don't forget Macho WrestleMania.
I'm about to. I'm going backwards. Of course, yeah, his feud with Macho was great. So I have a couple of I have a lot of Ric Flair matches. I will always love Ric Flair. I think he's definitely one of. If I was to do a Mount Rushmore, he would be on the Mount Rushmore. But yeah, I do have a Ric Flair. He just doesn't need to be getting back in the ring again. Nope. That's all now. Batman: Death in the Family is set to release under the Red Hood. It will be. I've seen this interactive. I understand where they're trying to go with this new Death in the Family thing. It's an interactive French. Basically, they're basically doing the whole concept that they did in the comic, where you call in. Remember how they did it? To call in the fate of Jason Todd. So in this, you can actually save him. Like it's interactive. Like you'll see. Well, if you save Jason Todd, this will happen. I don't know. Whatever. Hey, Chris. Hey, Barry. All I'm saying is Rogue should have a really good arc in MCU. Her adoption of the Mystique, her taking Carol's power, her relationship with Gambit, everything. We'll see. Do you read the regular show and Adventure Time crossover? The comics, no, I don't. I like regular show as a TV series, but I don't read the comics. Did you hear the news about the Suicide Squad game? Yes, I did. I talked about it earlier. I feel that Mystique and Rogue will be the mid or post credit scene in Captain Marvel 2, or I hope. Just got to play it by ear. If you hope for it to happen, it's not going to happen. You can't set your expectations on. You got to just go with the flow. Trust Feige's direction. It hasn't let us down yet. Nobody thought Thanos was going to be at the end credit of Avengers, but when that happened, the world went crazy. A lot of people when I went, there was a lot of people that didn't know who that was. I knew who it was. I pissed on myself because but it was like, I know who that is, or things like. So yeah, like don't set your expectations high. Just go with the flow. When they feel it's ready to bring the X-Men in, they'll do it. As far as I'm concerned, they don't need to rush the X-Men. They need to get right is the Fantastic Four. Before X-Men, Fantastic Four. The first family needs to be done with proper respect. Not the children of the Atom. Not yet. It's not their time. And already said it. Phase 5 is when they're really going to be introduced. We haven't even gotten to started phase 4. Don't set your expectation high with that one. I want to visit Scotland. I wouldn't mind visiting Scotland. I do want to go to Ireland one day. I do want to go to Ireland. And I think the more reasons because I've met a lot of Irish people and here in the States, and I have a lot of coworkers that are Irish, and we hear the accent and everything. It's great, but I just want to, have it, there are places. Lupin the Third and his crew meets Gambit. Would they be buddies? Man, got a lot of questions of crossovers and stuff like that. Thieves are thieves, you know. It's like there's no honor amongst thieves. Look at Lupin and Fujiko. Like she's she'll try to steal right under him.
The only thief that's gonna get some honor is Robin Hood.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of, yeah. And
Because
besides,
he's stealing with a purpose.
yeah, he steals with a
not stealing
purpose.
for personal greed.
Yeah, and with Gambit, he's a thief at times, but then he's also like, well, that's his past. He's trying to get away from that.
What about Sly Cooper?
Sly Cooper. I erased some questions of mine because you already answered them while you. Yeah, like I said, guys, I answered a lot of questions. Like, yeah, I love to visit Canada, especially British Columbia. Yeah, I seen pictures of Vancouver, and I'm like, that's a pretty city. I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty. Like, and besides, I have a lot of.
It's a pretty city. I like to go there.
I have a lot. I have a lot of friends from Canada through Facebook and stuff, and you know they're always saying like, "Hey, Chris, like when you and Malcolm want to come to Canada, you please tell us when you're coming." You know, because you know, and I'm like, yeah, I see just especially Vancouver. I'm like, man, that's a pretty city. Like
now I see why fans want a WrestleMania over there.
yeah, like Toronto. I see Toronto. I'm like, man,
that skyline of Toronto.
That skyline. I look at. I'm googling. There's one thing I do. If I'm looking at cities, I Google the skyline at night because I want to see what it looks like at night. Like if you ever, you Google skyline at night of New York City, it's beautiful. It's like, man, that's pretty. Like, you see the skyline of like Times Square and stuff. It's beautiful. Skyline of LA. I'm like, it's nice, But then I'm looking at like skyline of Tokyo. I'm like, oh my God, that's beautiful. I watched Dashi tour Tokyo all the time. I'm like, and there's a part of me that's like, I'm so jealous of this guy.
You know what's funny about Tokyo?
Yeah.
Anytime you see the streets of Tokyo at night, there are times where if you don't pay attention, you're like, oh, this Times Square.
Yeah, Tokyo looked a little bit like Times Square. So I've seen skylines of different cities, and I'm like, that's beautiful. Like it just looks beautiful. Hong Kong, I'm like, man, that's pretty. Like things like that. I like looking at skylines of cities. Like I'll Google them, just like, oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. Yeah, but Vancouver is definitely, if British Columbia, Vancouver, I mean, that's where almost all the CW shows are shot in Vancouver. They shoot there.
CW show also shot in Vancouver.
Vancouver. Then Toronto and Vancouver gets used a lot as backdrops to places. Like whenever they use Vancouver for a backdrop for like New York City, I'm like, me being a New Yorker, I'm like, that's not New York. Like you can't fool me with that. You can't fool me. I'm like, all right, yeah, okay. I'm supposed to believe that. Like remember in Spider-Man 2, and they shot the whole train scene. I looked at that and I'm like, that's not New York.
That's not New York.
That's not New York. I'm like, that's Chicago. Because one, Manhattan doesn't have an overpass train. Okay, for all those who don't know, especially if you've never been to New York, once you start heading into the other boroughs like Manhattan, Queens, and Brooklyn, and things like that, because you got to take a ferry to get to Shaolin, Staten Island. It goes underground. Everything's underground. But if you're going to the other borough, which is the BX, the Boogie Down, yeah, then that's over. That's overpass. You'll see that. But Spider-Man does not operate in the Bronx. He operates in Manhattan. So when I saw that scene, I'm like, okay, what are you trying to pull? Then what bothers me about that scene, as much as I like it, where the freak was that train track going? It ended nowhere. Like
somehow it was a unfinished track. The convenient unfinished track.
Stupid. So yeah, you can't fool me with it's like an Incredible Hulk where that was supposed to be The Abomination, and Hulk were fighting in Harlem. I'm like, that ain't Harlem. I'm like, the way they made the Apollo Theater, the world famous Apollo Theater, look like just some normal theater. I'm like, the hell?
No, make worse.
Yeah.
Freaking the Incredible Hulk. They made Harlem look like just an avenue.
Yeah, like a street, like a street.
Like what realistically Hell's Kitchen is.
Yeah,
I'm like, how they depict Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah,
it's like this big.
Yeah, like Hell's like the thing about Hell's Kitchen.
Part of Midtown.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen like 2 blocks. Like, okay, so don't get it twisted. For everybody who's never been to New York, Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil's neck of the wood. It's not a big section in Manhattan. No. It's 2 blocks. It's Midtown. It's like boop boop. It goes. If you ever come into Manhattan and you go to like the Port Authority, that's Hell's Kitchen right there. That's Hell's Kitchen. It's not like a big section, like a little Italy or something like that. No, it's not that. Harlem, that whole upper half of Manhattan, that's Harlem. That's Harlem. But in Incredible Hulk, they made it like, look, it's just one named street. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like,
you know what it was like? Yeah. Like that I never was like, I don't think it was 4 fast.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'm like, this has got to be Toronto or somewhere up there. Like and I understand why a lot of movies shoot up in Canada because it's cheap. It's cheaper. I get it, but you can't fool somebody who's from that city and thinking like.
As much as I love it, as much as I love growing up, as much as I love Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I love Rumble in the Bronx.
Like Rumble in the Bronx. One of Jackie Chan's. Pretty much, a lot of people say that was really what got him international fame. That's not true. Jackie was always famous. That movie shot him got more recognition here in the States, but he had movies in the States already before that. But it's called Rumble in the Bronx, and there's scenes that are shot in New York, and I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm looking at some of them, I'm like, where in the Bronx is this? I know almost every section of the Bronx.
And the Bronx is not that big.
Yeah,
that wide.
I mean, it's big, but it's not the way.
The cover shows time. So the Twin Towers.
Yeah, like
and so wait, that ain't the Bronx.
But yeah, like, and you know they make the Bronx look like it's all ghettos and tough areas and it's tough, but it's not. There's like Riverdale is a very high populated area that kind of is more high income. And when we got on topic with, I'm sorry, but see, it's open mic, but yeah, you know, it happens. So yeah, you can't fool me. You can't fool me in terms of authenticity of like, if I see a movie, like if somebody was to watch me, if we watched, let's say,
I'm in it. Oh.
Okay, say if we watch some like Ghostbusters. Okay, we'll take Ghostbusters. And you would say, Chris, is that really? Yeah, like that. In Ghostbusters, that area where the mayor's office is, that's real. You could see that building right there. The Ghostbusters firehouse, that's real. That's in the city. Like it's real. It's a real firehouse. But yeah, like you could like say if somebody's from Chicago and you try to fake downtown Chicago or something like that, it's like, wait, no, it ain't. That ain't, you know, like the backdraft of the Sears Tower. Like it's like it's hard. But you know, they do it because of cost and things like that. And I'm not knocking that, but you know, sometimes it is great to shoot on location. That's why I appreciated that when they did do the Netflix series, they shot directly in Manhattan. Like all those series were shot in Manhattan. They were not shot in another city and being portrayed as that. But yes, for all those who don't know, Hell's Kitchen is not that big. It's 2 blocks, and that's it. That's Hell's Kitchen. Uh, let's see. Any plans on getting Marvel's Avengers game? I'm about to download the beta. I'm gonna play the beta. I'm gonna stream it here on the main channel. I'll probably do it this week when I get the time. I'm gonna stream that. So I'm gonna play. What's your favorite PlayStation franchise? My favorite PlayStation. My favorite PlayStation franchise. It would have been Metal Gear Solid, but then Metal Gear started going to other platforms, so I can't. I guess I like the Jax and Daxter series. I've only played it once, but I enjoyed that. Um, uh, 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 God of War, of course. Got to go throw those in there. Even though I kind of got sick of Kratos because he became an ass, and after he, avenged he came the God of War, and then ever that. But now seeing him grow as a person, as a character, and with his son, and it's just like, wow, look at the evolution of the character. He's not much of a dick. So yeah, there's a couple of series I have, PlayStation series I have fans of. Like I said, I would say Tekken too, but Tekken became a multi-platform. Which one? Which one do you like better? Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network? Depends on the era. Depends on the era. Depends on the era, because back in the 90s, I would say both. I like both. I was on both of those channels all the time. Those classic Nick shows from Doug to Rugrats, Rocco, Hey Arnold. I wasn't a big Cat Dog fan. I wasn't a big Angry Beavers fan. Never really was into those shows. I don't know. I just didn't. But I like Rocket Power. Rocket Power was good. That's late 90s. And, back in the day with Cartoon Network, when Cartoon Network first came out, it was basically a lot of classic cartoons. It was all the classics before it became Boomerang. And then, of course, the original cartoons came. All those original cartoons like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter and Johnny Bravo, they all started from this show called What a Cartoon, where it was almost like they would Cartoon Network or Warner Brothers was like, it was like a test run. We'll give you a one shot, kind of like with Marvel in their Amazing Fantasy series. Remember that? Where that's how Spider-Man got famous, from Amazing Fantasy. It's like a one shot. You do that, and we'll see where it go from there. Powerpuff Girls started from there. Dexter, and a lot of those shows came from the What a Cartoon show, and they became great. And then, of course, we saw other cartoons come later, but those original shows, and there was even a show on Cartoon Network back in the day called Oh Canada, where they were animated shows from Canada. They would get premiered on here. Then Toonami came around, and that just blew up. That was like anybody that got off of school, that was like your hour before you had to go do your homework. That's how it was me. When Toonami was going on, I was in junior high. So yeah, I was in junior high. So I would come home, watch Toonami, and then do my homework later. Stuff like that.
Talk about the 2000 Nickelodeon era.
Yeah.
So let me do let's talk about it.
Yeah.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, SpongeBob.
Those first 3 seasons.
Yeah, so
Jimmy Neutron.
Jimmy Neutron. Yeah, Jimmy Neutron.
Really, Danny Phantom.
Yeah, Danny Phantom. Yeah, but like I said, the early days of both of those networks were great, and then
never had a resurgence in basically the 2010s with Adventure Time and
you started seeing like a research, but before that, both of the shows with all these reality shows and all these, I'm nothing.
Never didn't have reality.
Yeah. Well, they had like the game shows.
What game show? A hole in the wall. But when they try to do CN real, which was so dumb.
Yeah.
Because so you still call yourself Cartoon Network,
right?
But your marketing is real. They don't call yourself Cartoon Network anymore,
right?
And
so
when it was hole in the wall, you knew something was up with. I'm like, hey, what's Jurassic Park coming on Cartoon Network?
Yeah, like they were doing all these live action movies, and then, of course, to me, what I didn't like about some of the classic shows was like for Dexter, those early days of Dexter are what I like. I don't care for those later episodes where the animation changed. It got brighter. It looked more computer drawn instead of hand drawn. Same thing with Johnny Bravo. Like I like those earlier episodes of Johnny instead of when they started adding Pops and Gary. Hi, Johnny. Like I'm like, man, get out of it. Like, but I still say this before. In terms of now, I could tell you right now, Johnny Bravo would not be welcome on TV.
Nope.
Not by a second.
Nope.
Not by a second. Nope. If they brought Johnny Bravo now, if he came out now, at a time with the Me Too movement, all that stuff, they would eat that show like get it off the air. He is trash. And you can't deny that they would have valid points. Johnny Bravo is a harasser. He's almost a pedophile.
No, he's Mr. Anti-consent.
He anti-consent. Like this guy, how about a kiss there, miss? He just slobbers all over these girls, like tongue and all. Like now let's get some dinner. Like, and then she shocks him. Yeah, like I mean, like okay, there was one time where the first episode where he was just in the zoo, just posing, just trying to get a girl's attention, and then he saw the zookeeper running, and he's like, oh, I love when they run, and he's blocking her from getting it's like he's like, yeah, say baby, come to, and it's like, wait, yo, it's kind of like the same thing with Pepe Le Pew. Pepe Le Pew is he's a
like you got this female cat,
the female cat
in
fear, and he's just casually like that's a like serial rapist. Like
somebody called the anamorphic version of Benson and Skateboard.
Yeah, like come on, like Johnny Bravo would not get away with the stuff he would do now. Like he's over the top. Yes, he is, but he has no boundaries. This guy will put his tongue down any woman's throat, and
whether it's open or not.
Like there are times like I remember the first he kissed that, and when the animate and the tongue was, and I'm like, you just tongue this girl. Like it's like what are you thinking? Like now if I did something like that, I'm gonna get shocked, or hitting the nuts again, which I don't like to. That's a story for another time. But yeah, like if we were to do that, it'd be like, wait, what the hell are you doing? I didn't think they needed. And what I don't like about Cartoon right now, they feel like they have to reboot every goddamn show when these shows are not even sometimes 10 years old yet.
Well, with Ben 10, they did that to celebrate.
Yeah, like why would you? Ben 10 did not need to get rebooted. I would have loved to seen them evolve that character. Now we saw which they were doing. We saw Ben grown up, Ben 10,000 with his son. I'm like, okay, that's going to be the next series. You're going to see Ben 10,000, like him fully in control of the Omnitrix, and he knows how to use it. And Nope, we didn't see any of that.
Too bad we didn't see the evolution of Generator Rex.
Generator Rex, was a good show, and I do love the crossover between him and
We get Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack came back and finished the story, which was really great and sad at the same time. He got married and he lost his wife. Remember, she was a figment of creation of Aku. So when Aku died, she died.
Oh yeah.
She died right in but he still felt her presence because like in a ladybug form or something like that. But it was really sad. It was like, oh man. But yeah, man.
It was a good subtle dark.
Yeah, it got dark, man. They was showing blood and everything, like really bloody. I was like, whoa. So and yeah, Toonami's still around. It's not the same because now it only comes on Saturdays. And
what was the Toonami? The Toonami original, the GFX or
GF.
Remember, one round is the race, second round is the.
The original. Yeah, I forgot the name, but they had like robots and that was a good show. That was awesome. Yeah, that was a good show. So yeah, basically, Aussie, depending on the period for both of them.
Right now, for me, the only thing Nick got going is the Loud House.
Yeah, I like the Loud House. Yeah, I do like that.
Right now, it's like in terms of animated, it's Disney.
Yeah, Disney has a resurgence. Disney has the resurgence in anime.
What's with all these 9s and 6s?
What would you do a reaction to Cardi B WAP? No.
I knew somebody
was going to ask me that.
Well, I know somebody that would.
Who?
I know somebody that would do a reaction to the WAP song.
Who?
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. I'm not gonna do it. I know people making a big deal out of this. Oh my God, they're saying something. I've heard worse. I grew up with Little Kim, Foxy Brown, all them. They were saying that kind of stuff before Cardi. This is not new. Like they kill me out. Oh my God, they're saying. You hear what they're saying? I heard Little Kim talking about lick my twat before. Like what? You come on.
I was saying on Facebook almost. So next year will be the 20th anniversary of 2 Live Crew. Pop that cooch.
Yeah, pop that. Yeah. So yeah, it's like come on. So yeah. So I probably won't, and I'm not trying to get a copyright strike and all that other stuff. That's not going down like that. Did you hear about Kamala? Yeah, I did. Legend Kamala passed away, age 70.
Ouch.
It's real sad. I grew up with Kamala, so I know. Did you watch the original ECW? Of course I did. Here in New York, ECW used to come on the MSG channel, which stands for Madison Square Garden. Basically Madison Square Garden, world's famous arena. Had an ECW used to come on very late. Came on
as it
needed to be. Came on 2 a.m. in the morning, and there were times I would be up always Friday or Saturday morning. They'd come on and I would watch it. And it was not WWF, WWE, or WCW all that time. But yeah, I watched it, and that's my love for Taz came from. My love for Taz and Rob Van Dam. That was where I loved Taz. I love Taz because I'm always a sucker for the little guys. I'm always going to be a big supporter for the little guys, because I'm a short guy, so I will pull for them more than pulling for the bigger guys.
Why don't you pull for Cameron Grimes?
Because Cameron Grimes is an ass. So fuck him. Okay. Loudmouth punk.
So you talked about that. He was like, that match with Keith Lee was way too competitive, as I feared it would be.
True Blue Aussie. I'm Aboriginal, mate. Respect, dude. Okay, that's cool.
keep stories, people would be so pissed off. It's like they'll just have to keep watching.
Thoughts on Spider-Man coming to the Avengers game as a PS exclusive? I talked about that too, Perry, in the beginning. I hope Mystique looks more accurate to a comic accuracy in the MCU. Also, the makeup is bearable for the actress. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, in terms of Mystique looking more accurate, I agree. You know, I don't want her walking around butt naked. You know, have her look. I don't care if they even just put her in the black latex tank top and tight latex pants with boots. She's worn that before. That's fine.
Yeah, like with she had like a little skull belt.
Yeah, like, but if they have her accurate, like the high heel boots and the white, that's fine too. But yeah, and I want her eyes to be completely yellow, like yeah, things like that. But yeah, the makeup and the other thing about it, I want an actress who is. I want an actress who is who's not gonna be. Oh, can I be myself? Like that's my biggest issue with. This is the reason why I like Rebecca Romaine Stamos more than I like Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. Not once did you see Rebecca Romaine Stamos as herself until the third one, and why? She lost her mutant powers. Okay, that's fine. But before that, she was always in the skin, always looking herself. Jennifer Lawrence constantly looking, and I'm like, that's not Mystique then. You know, she does. That was my biggest issue. So yes, I understand the makeup is there. Sometimes it takes like 10 hours to get that makeup on, and even longer to take it off. But I want an actress that's gonna appreciate that, like fine like that. You know, I get it. When you are talking about movies not fooling people from an area, same happened with me with Remembering the Titans. I'm from North VA. see, you get it. What Disney villain song do you picture with any Marvel villain? I don't picture any Marvel villains, any song.
No, they're not that Disney.
They're not that Disney. No.
Nor do they need it.
Exactly. For me personally, it's Uncharted. Uncharted is another good one. Yeah, I will agree with that. Uncharted is my favorite PS series. I would also say Twisted Metal. Hey, I'll say Twisted Metal. Did you watch the last WCW Nitro? I wasn't really a. Wait, yeah, I did. I did, yeah.
That time Nitro was anything to watch.
Yeah, and in some way, yeah. Let's be honest, Nitro wasn't really anything to watch at that time. But I stopped flipping through channels with WWF, WWE, and Nitro a long time. Like it was nah. What's your favorite episode of each animated X-Men show? Man, that's hard because I have a lot of favorite episodes from the original '90s. But if I'm gonna just pick one, that's still tough. From the '90s cartoon, one of them is definitely I think it was called Excension, or it was the episode when Bobby came back. Iceman came back and they fought X Factor. I like that episode. There's a bunch with the '90s cartoon. X-Men Evolution. X-Men that's tough too, because there's a lot of episodes I liked with that too. I think one would definitely be one of my favorite episodes is when Spike was introduced. I thought that was really cool. I liked that episode. You know, I liked the episode where Wolverine um
Don't need it.
he got, he was getting brainwashed again, from, and he went back to Mount Echidna, and he started chasing Kitty and uh Kurt, and Kitty actually, helped him regain his conscience. Like, she was like, no, I'm reaching him, and he was scared he was going to hurt her, and and you could just see Dr. Cornelius just pushing the the pain in his brain, just pushing it up, and at the end, I love, Wolverine just talking to the Professor. He's like, are the kids okay? Like, he was scared, like he hurt them, and he's like, they're fine, and Kitty's been here to see you every second, and he's just telling Professor, I'm gonna find out why they did this to me, like, things like that.
Remember, it was the I think the first season finale where it's like uh Scott and Alex they went through and
they got evolved.
They evolved.
Yeah, they evolved. Like, Magneto basically supposedly evolved into their full potential. So Scott had, like, he didn't need the visor, and he could just shoot. But they had white hair. So and the professor's like, yeah, that's funny how they got white hair. They're supposed to be like your disciples. It was all right, but I did like, that scene where, they're falling, Alex and them are falling, and you see them reminiscing about when they fell before, and Scott grabbed Alex like, I got you, brother. Like, this time I'm not gonna let you go. I thought that was a good significant. I liked the episode when they finally introduced Warren, because he was like a guardian angel, and you know, and Magneto was trying to stop him from being like good. Like, he was trying to make it was just really weird.
Did he become Archangel now?
No, he just stayed Angel. He never became Archangel yet. And they even paid homage to the original Angel theme, like, because in the original '90s cartoon, Archangel had like a theme that I just love that theme, and they kind of paid it again, but it kind of upped it with the French horns. It went.
They were really dirty with that fight with Blob.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. Let me see what else. Yeah, Blob was almost I'm not saying pedophile, but he was almost like, yeah, you're mine, Gene. You gotta stay with me. Like, what the fuck? Like, a lot of them kids have problems. Like, I always found evolution weird at times, but it was fun, but it was weird too. Like Avalanche probably had me laughing the most, because anytime he probably had to roll his eyes in the back of his head, he'd go, and then it was just weird. What else was a good episode of Evolution? There were, like I said, there was a lot of episodes. There was a lot of good episodes in Evolution. Wolverine and X-Men, that's a little harder. Oh, probably one of my favorite episodes was Kurt, when he was on the island, M Island, and he got off the island, and Kurt, he got off of Magneto's island, and he teleported back to the mainland. Remember, Kurt can't teleport. He can only teleport like 2 miles, but he teleported back to the X Mansion. I thought that was so cool. He kept teleporting back and back. He didn't, until finally he got to the island, back to the X Mansion. He just passed out. I was like, that just made Kurt a G. I was like, oh, he was so cool. I love when he fought Spiral in that. Like, he kept teleporting all her metal arms off, and he's like, careful. He's like, you don't have any more metal arms now for me to. So yeah, it was cool. And anytime they did like the future stuff, where we saw Professor Xavier in the future with Bishop and Spiral and all of them. It was good. Um, okay, we get ready to wrap this up. I'm gonna answer the rest of these questions. Gonna kind of go rapid fire, guys. So be careful. What's up, Juan? I wish they bring back Gargoyles and Mega XRL. Which you like better, SpongeBob or Ed, Ed and Eddie? Um, I would go with Ed, Ed and Eddie. I mean, I like SpongeBob, but Ed, Ed and Eddie was definitely that was my show. I loved that. Uh, you seen Dark Side of the Ring? I seen one episode. Tony Montana. Hey Chris, sorry I'm late. I was sleeping. How are you? I'm fine. Sting versus Flair was a good way to send out of WCW. I was in tears of the last Nitro. Not really me. The thing with actors that play Mystique is that they must they must they must to show their face in the film for promotion purpose. So of course they're willing to do them so that blue, but you prefer the opposite. They still have to be in that character. You can't have them constantly showing that.
This is the thing. The issue with John Valon's is she was so much out of the blue skin that if you didn't get the content, if you just dropped in, especially in the later one, you would not know that she's Mystique.
Right. That's the problem.
You should know that this person is who they are.
Oh, that's Mystique. Which Joker is your favorite? Joaquin Phoenix Joker or the Aussie Heath Ledger? I didn't.
That's not a fair. You can't even be objective because you haven't watched.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I'm not.
The Joaquin Phoenix.
I will say Joaquin because I didn't watch Joker. I didn't really care for it.
No, yeah. You mean Heath?
Heath. What did I say? Heath. Joaquin. I mean Heath. So I'll definitely go Heath on that one. I didn't watch Joker, and nor do I plan to watch it. You know, I really don't care. I definitely hope we'll get Black Panther and Ant-Man next as DLCs after Hawkeye and Spider-Man. We'll see. Well, Ant-Man is going to be in it. Ant-Man was acknowledged right away. Ant-Man's going to be in it. I don't know about Black Panther, but Ant-Man's definitely going to be in it. Have you noticed that on the Marvel posters, all the heroes almost never wear their mask or helmets because they want their faces to be shown in public? Should they keep their masks and helmets during the movies? Yeah, it's still like that's still their costume. It's still their uniform.
Here's another example. One of the best action movies this past decade. Look at Carl Urban as Dredd.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's still even though a lot of them show their face, it's still suit up. Like the world knows Tony Stark as Iron Man, but do you ever see him fighting without the full armor on? No.
The only time the thing is anytime Tony went out of the face part of his suit, that's when you knew like okay, something serious is about to happen.
Yeah. But that's still their costume. They're still gonna rock that no matter what. You know, it wasn't until now like the world supposedly knows Peter Parker, Spider-Man. They never showed his face, you know. So yeah. In the Avengers game, I feel like some people will not give Kamala Khan a chance because they did not like Captain Marvel. So you think that could impact her TV show? Hell no. Kamala is huge. Like, I don't know how it is overseas, but here in the States, people love Kamala. She's
Captain Marvel because they didn't like Carol's Captain Marvel.
Yeah, like I doubt that. Like that's not gonna be the case. Kamala is probably one of the most beloved newest characters in Marvel, behind Miles. Ain't no way that's not the case at all. So yeah, sorry, that's not gonna be the case. People want to see, and besides that, outside of just her character, this is also going to be a good opportunity for people to see heroes of other races, other colors, and it's not hammered. One being the fact that if you look at, especially in Western media, anytime someone who looks like Kamala, what are they? Terrorists. They're never treated as being anything more than terrorists. So I'm pulling for Kamala all the way. I know she's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to seeing who they cast as Kamala. And I hope they get somebody who is of Pakistani background. Like, yeah, she's Pakistani. Yeah, I think she's right. Yeah. You know, you're about 5 of your favorite. Who are 5 of your favorite ex female? My 5? I have okay. I'm gonna answer these last 2 questions and I'm gonna wrap this up. There we go. 5 favorite X-Men. Jean, Rogue, Storm, Psylocke. Well, she's not Psylocke anymore. Betsy now is Captain Britain. And there's so many. Kitty Pryde. There you go. Those are some 5. Those are 5.
Wow. That wasn't even a team kill.
I feel like Brie Larson gets too much unnecessary hate. Do you agree? Yeah. I mean, she just did a.
I don't think so, because you're not. It's like it's like 2 out of 3.
She somewhat. But I like her as Carol. I don't hate her as Carol. She wasn't my first pick as Carol, but I understand Marvel's. I can't knock Marvel's casting. I can't really knock it because she really came into that character, and I'm fine with it.
For some reason, it seems as though the flack from Brie Larson came for her herself, not her as Carol.
Yeah, like that's where it comes from.
Like how it was in some cases where, okay, like for Ben Affleck,
right?
The flack came from him as Bruce Wayne. You're like, no, Brie Larson was getting flack just whatever people felt about.
Yeah, about I don't mind her at all, and things like that. But I always wish her nothing but the best. I mean, she just did I just read that she did a little workout video where she was showcasing, her doing. I think she was doing yoga or something like that, and you got fucking trolls coming out like just cursing her out, and for no particular reason. It's like, get her out of here.
What?
Like she was doing like a yoga video, Brie Larson, and like all the haters just started coming out like, and so like she gets just ridiculous hate for no reason. I really can't see anything bad about her right now. But with that being said, guys, we're gonna end this. I hit the 2-hour mark, like I said. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be back again with another Q&A for the month of August. But I'll make an announcement for that one because that one will be pre-recorded. It won't be live. So I'll have time to, work my editing magic and stuff with that one. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Stay safe as always, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you guys next time. So this is Marvel the Kid saying peace and love. Stay tuned. Keep it real, guys, as always. To my pack, as always. Deuces.